Welcome to Joy Connection, a time where we connect in conversation to connect you with joy. We'll be right back.
It is my strength. I choose joy within a win. I choose joy.
I am so excited today to be having conversation with the founder of the Black Queens of Durham, Miss Asha Lapps. Thank you for coming today. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's just get started because I know that we have a whole lot to talk about today. I mean, the Black Queens of Durham started out as an online connecting group because I know that you are all about making connections. So tell us a little bit about how Black Queens started, what was your dream for it, and now where it is today.
Oh, great question. So we started back in 2017 in the month of August, and the way it happened, to be honest, there was no dream for it, as people are sometimes surprised to hear, but there were some racial injustices happening in the US that we know they didn't just start then, but they just started being broadcasted on social media. Was feeling angry and frustrated, as often happens, and I realized that arguing with people on social media was not productive. But there was kind of there was anger, there was frustration in my body, and I knew that it wasn't a good place for that energy to sit, and it needed to be redirected into something positive and productive.
Wow. It's amazing to me how it is that things come out of a need in our own lives.
Yeah.
Or comes out of a situation. I think that God is amazing how He connects our passions and our purposes out of one incident, right? So you needed to empty yourself of negativity, but I can tell you all that Miss Asha has actually really brought a lot of positivity to our lives because you did that to unleash some feelings. But in what you have created, it has been a lot of connecting people, connecting purpose, connecting passion. Tell us a little bit about what Black Queens of Durham actually does.
Yeah, so at that time, it was just like, okay, I've got to do something. And I've lived in the Durham region for over 30 years, back before a lot of people got there, before it was the diverse place that it is now, and put a call out on a larger group and just said, hey, are there any Black women in the Durham region that might want to just connect? I thought maybe 5 people would respond. We would go for a quick coffee, and that was it. Within 24 hours, I had over 50 responses and realized that I had to move the conversation somewhere. The Facebook group was created, and then from there just started to grow. We had our first meet and greet, and in the room you could just tell there was such a need and a thirst to connect, and we realized even at that moment that we had something. Yeah.
And you certainly do have something.
Yes.
Because I know that the group is online, but it's also in person because you have really tried to help people find their own passions and help people connect in areas of need. I know personally, I love the Black Queens of Durham. And some of you listening might think, Black Queens, why do you just want all of the same culture together?
Yeah.
Answer that question.
Safe spaces are so important. Safe spaces are very important. There are common experiences and things that happen that are understood, and you need a space to be able to come and for people to get you. So you need to be able to come and say, this has happened to my child at school today. Right. And for somebody to say, I understand, it's happened to me too. And how did you resolve it? And we're moving forward from that question. We're not moving forward from, did that really happen? You know, those microaggressions that people question us on. So I just think safe spaces are important. It's in no way to isolate us from the world, because we all live in it, but it's a way for you to come, get what you need, fill your cup, and get back out there to do what you have to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and I find that to be so important. I think that God is so such a loving God that He makes sure, yes, I want you as dear sons and daughters to be connected with all that I've created.
Yeah.
But He's also loving enough to know that this connection and that connection is important to you and to your well-being. So how have you seen God work in this group of women who are Black, and of course a diverse set of Black women from all walks of life, but that commonality has kept us connected?
Yes. Yeah, I would say, so I'll go back to what you talked about in terms of passion. When the group started, before it started, the idea kept on just kind of like poking me.
Percolating, right? Get your attention.
It was trying to get my attention, and I kind of ignored it, and it kept trying to get my attention, and then I knew I had to do it. So I almost didn't have a choice, because it wouldn't let, at a point in time I couldn't sleep.
It wouldn't leave you alone.
It wouldn't leave me alone. The idea was there. So from that, I would say it's allowed, I would just say overall empowerment of people to just feel like they have agency in their own lives. So that's important for me, for people to not feel like they're victims, like they're helpless. It's like, what can I do in my own life? And how can I also contribute to somebody else's life? And I think that's a beautiful combination. Yeah,
this whole idea of how can I contribute to somebody else's life? So this is God saying, I've put something in you that if you don't say yes to, you're stopping other people from moving forward in their yes. And so now you have what? We started, you said 50 people, meet and greet. Then it grew. How many women are part of the Black Queens of Durham right now?
When I checked a couple days ago, 11,600.
11,600 women.
Yes.
And that's just women. You know, the Bible talks of 10,000 men, 5,000 men, women, and children. And now we have 11,000 women and children and spouses or boyfriends or whatever. There are all of these lives being connected because you said yes to something that would not let you go. What would you have to say to somebody who's trying to think of, I should start something, or I should do this? Will I have an impact? What would you say to them?
You're always, I think, anybody who's entrepreneurial minded, but I think in general, you always just have to find a need. So find a need, fill the need, something that impacts you maybe personally. So I was always somebody who was a little bit introverted, but I knew it was always important, even for the introverted person who wants to connect. And how do you create that space for great people to meet each other? And I also know that for women, as you get a little bit older, it's a little bit more difficult to make friends and make connections. So it's like, how do you create that space for this great person to connect with that other great person?
And I've seen that. Like, I've seen people actually write in, I've just moved to Whitby. I need some friends.
Yes.
And then I've seen people actually respond, hey, come have coffee with me. Hey, let's meet over
go for
here.
A walk or something.
Even just parent groups. I have these children and they're interviewed. Do you have kids? Can we have a play date? You know, those kind of things.
And even for me, I always say we have 11,000. Everybody isn't going to be best friends with 11,000 people. But if you find one person in the group that you can connect with and have a real connection with, then I know that we've done our job and then it's working.
So you know that you've done your job.
Yes.
What is your vision, or, you know, what is it that you want out of this group? What's next?
That's a good question. I think it's important to have vision and it's important to plan. I'm a planner.
Yes.
But the way this group even started was extremely organic. So it's funny, we're now in the process of putting some more structures in place. And we just did a rebrand. We have some events that we do. So we're even having to kind of step back and plan, but it's really almost taken on a bit of a life of its own.
A life of its own. You said it was organic, and it's organically growing. I know that you're online, but I know that you also help entrepreneurial women because you have the markets at Christmas and in the summer where women who are in business for themselves can come and show their services, their products. So you've really helped people even financially.
Oh, absolutely.
And then I know you've had the brunch where you've helped people go, there's a like-minded person. Here's a like-minded person. Here is, you know, the brunch was your last big thing, right? So tell me, what has been your greatest joy out of this thing that you had no plans for, but God had plans, and now here you are. What has been your greatest joy?
Ooh, I think to hear people just say thank you. Yeah, the gratitude means everything. It's a lot of hard work. Going from a few, 50 people, a few hundred to 11,000, it's now become a lot of work. So sometimes we're so deep in the making sure things are running day to day when somebody stops and just says, hey, thank you. So there's a lot of testimonials, and it's only when I run into somebody, they're like, hey, I don't post much, but I just want you to know that this happened, and I've connected with this person. I'm good friends with this person because I met them through the group. Yeah. So, who knows what's next? But yeah, that joy of the knowing that these connections are happening, knowing that somebody, there's a particular person, a massage lady in the group who gets a lot of business. She was able to quit her regular job, go into business full time. Right. I know she's making some money there, but I think I even tried to book her one time, and she's booked 2-3 months out.
Wow.
to get a massage. So, and she, I saw her at an event one day, and on stage, she's like, yeah, all my business is because of the Queens of Durham. Wow. I had somebody the other day, a contractor said 50% of my business is Black Queens of Durham, 80% of my business is Black Queens of Durham. So it's tangible stuff that's happening. Yeah.
God has used you, and it's outside of yourself. And I'm just going to say to everybody that's even listening to Asha share, say thank you to her because we want her blessed as well. And so, Asha, I say thank you personally because I have found some good contractors, some good clothes, some good business, some good relationships, just because of you. And so that's God working through you. And so, God, I'm saying, please bless Asha as she continues to move forward in this. Where can people find you? And do you have any other words of wisdom or hopes or dreams or encouragement that you would like to share before we go?
Ooh, okay. At Black Queens of Durham on Instagram. Our Facebook group is Black Queens of Durham Region. And any words of wisdom, I think kind of what had happened to me, if there's an idea or something that kind of won't leave you alone, answer the call, say yes. I can thank my dad for being the entrepreneurial minded, and he always said, don't ever be afraid to try something. He's like, always try. If it doesn't work, then at least you can say that you've tried. So if you have an idea, if you have a need that needs to be filled, I think it's important sometimes to have something even based on your own experience that you can pour your story into that entrepreneurial journey or whatever you need to do. But always try.
And keep the story going. You're a need of your own, but you pour it in and you keep the story going. And I'd like you all that are listening to Asha, she truly is entrepreneurial. She has done this, Black Queens of Durham, and doesn't get paid for it. But she's also a very gifted singer and loves music. Asha and I have sung together in the reggae praise band that we've sung in, but she also sings with other bands. So even just get to know her and follow her so that you can see the artistic side of Asha, the creative side of Asha, and even invite her to sing for you because the voice is like an angel. And that brings me joy. When I hear Asha sing, that brings me joy. So there's many things to us as women. Yeah. And I just want to say thank you for pouring into a community of 11,000 women. You've done an amazing job. I know that God has more in store for you. This has been a conversation of joy because I love when I hear about how it is that people's lives are making a difference. But I love even more that you have said the greatest thing that brings you joy is thank you. Gratitude is absolutely amazing, and your gratitude and our gratitude together keeps it going. So thank you for joining us today. And this conversation has brought me so much joy because I love it when I hear about what it is that God is doing in people's lives. And I love it when they say gratitude is the thing that has meant the most to them. We're grateful for you, Asha. And I hope this conversation has brought joy to you. Find her on Black Queens of Durham. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.